Miranda and I'm here with Stephanie Ellis. She is an executive director at Wild Care of Cape Cod. She is also joined by 45 the turtle and Nickerson the owl. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So, what is Wild Care's mission in wildlife rehabilitation?
Sure. So our mission is to take in sick and injured and orphan animals and release them back into the wild, and to make sure that they are capable of independent survival. But also working with wildlife every day, we learn a lot about their environment. And so we do a lot of education and outreach, and we are advocates for ethical treatment of wildlife.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now, what's a typical day as a rehabilitator at Wild Care?
Sure. So my staff, they're there anywhere from, depending on the shift, from 6 a.m. to sometimes 8 p.m. and later. And animals come through the door throughout the day from the public. They have to provide, care of all the current patients. So exams, weighing them, hand feeding in the case of babies. There's food prep. There's cage cleaning, medication prep. It's a lot of work. It's just like a hospital for people, except it's for animals.
And now, how does Wild Care impact the community with its educational outreach?
Sure. So we actually have a helpline where people call us if you have an animal in distress or if you have a human-wildlife conflict. And last year we took in just under 10,000 phone calls.
Wow.
So to me, that number alone shows the importance, of a service like ours in the community, because we're providing live counseling, helping people with animals in distress.
That's amazing.
And we also took in 1,716 animals in need of help.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. And what is the conservation collaboration that the organization does to preserve the local wildlife?
Sure. So, we always stress that people can coexist with wildlife, and there are many things that you can do to reduce your footprint on wildlife. We work with many different organizations. I'm always out giving programs with various organizations like Barnstable Land Trust and the Cape Wildlife Center and Eastham Historical Society, just to spread the word. But also we work very closely with organizations like the Wellfleet Bay Wildlife Sanctuary for turtle rehab, and also the Cape Wildlife Center. They are a wildlife hospital located in Barnstable, and so we utilize them when we are in need of wildlife veterinarians.
So now someone can sponsor an educational animal. Can you explain a little bit about this process and how people can get involved to
Sure, absolutely. So we currently have 3 educational animals, 2 eastern screech owls and 1 box turtle, and 2 of those you will meet today. And people can actually sponsor their care for the year. And so the owls, it's a $1,000 sponsorship, and people should know that this helps us to provide the daily care, the daily handling, maintenance of their aviaries or habitats, and so it really, really helps us. In the meantime, we're taking these animals out and teaching people about the value of wildlife.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if someone were to see a turtle on the side of the road struggling, what would you advise them to do? What's the whole rescuing process?
Sure. So right now, especially June and July, this is the time when turtles are out and about. Females are looking for places to lay their eggs. And so they don't know how to watch for cars, and so they're crossing the streets. And what we usually tell people is if you see a turtle crossing the road and it's safe for you to do so, you can simply move that turtle to the other side of the road in which it was headed. And that's a really nice thing to do so they don't get hit by a car. If you see that a turtle has been hit by a car in the road, we recommend that you bring it into us so we can do an evaluation and see if we can repair the injury. So we see a lot of, right now the major threat for turtles on Cape Cod is vehicles.
And is the rehabilitation process long for you all at the Wild Care?
It is, yes, especially so for turtles and any of the reptiles, because their metabolism is so slow, they're cold-blooded animals, the healing process is also very slow. So something like, a large snapping turtle with a shell fracture, that could take up to a year to heal. very long-term treatment. And that's what we do. That's why we're there. And then for birds and small mammals, it depends on the age of the animal, the condition, the illness, the injury. My staff, I can tell you they work nearly around the clock providing critical care for all of these animals.
Now, is there anything that we can do as citizens to watch out for something to prevent maybe like poisonous substances? I know you were speaking about that a little earlier.
Yes, thank you for asking that. So we see a lot of raptors at Wild Care, the hawks and the owls. And I would say probably one of the top reasons why we see them is because they have been poisoned by rat poison. And what most people don't know is when you buy products like Decon, they are anticoagulant poisons. And so you poison a mouse, in your house, and the little mouse goes outside and it's now debilitated. And so a hawk will eat the mouse because it's easy prey. And so what happens is now the hawk becomes poisoned. And so we refer to it as secondary poisoning. And because these products, many of them have anticoagulants, it interferes with the blood's ability to clot. And so these animals are bleeding out. And we see severe anemia, hemorrhaging, bruising, depression. It's very, very sad to see, and it is a long treatment process.
That's very sad.
Yes, so I would advise just say no to rodenticides. They're really inhumane.
That's good for everyone to know.
Thank you.
So now, on a happier note, let's meet your friends,
Yeah.
49 and Nickerson.
Yes, 45.
Oh, 45, shoot. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. He'll be coming out in a minute.
Oh,
I'm sorry if we get some moss on your floor.
Oh, that's okay.
So this is 45, and he is an eastern box turtle. And you're probably wondering why he has such a weird name. He was the 45th patient to come through our door in 2015. Every animal receives a number. He actually has a piece of tape on the back of him that has his number on it. We try not to name our animals because they are going to be released. But this turtle, it was kept by a woman as a pet. And that actually is not legal in the state of Massachusetts. These guys, eastern box turtles, are a species of special concern in Massachusetts. They're in decline due to habitat loss, being hit by a car, ATVs tear up their nests inadvertently. So you can't have them as pets. So what happened was he came to us and he was so tame. If this was a box turtle in the wild and you picked it up, the first thing it would do is close itself completely into its shell. And as you can see, this turtle's just ready to go. He wants to come over to you. And he does not close up into his shell. So we quickly realized he would not be able to be released into the wild. And we applied for a special permit from Fish and Wildlife Service to use him as an educational animal.
Oh, good.
And so this is what he does, is teach people about the value of turtles.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't he beautiful?
I love the skin. What is the skin or?
Sure, the scales.
The scales, that's beautiful.
He's actually, you're welcome to feel him. He's actually quite
Oh,
soft.
yes. Oh. 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 Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry.
No, that's
Startled.
that's okay.
Oh.
And he is actually a fine specimen of a male box turtle. He is very bright orange and he has bright red eyes.
That's beautiful.
That is characteristic of males. He also, I don't know if we can show it on television, and he doesn't really like this, but this shell here sort of dips in.
Wow.
And that is for sitting on top of the female. So he's very much a boy.
Yeah.
We absolutely love him. He is so delightful. Children in every age just fall in love with him.
That's great.
He's a beauty. Box turtles are a terrestrial turtle. So we tell people, if you see a turtle and it's crossing the road, do not move it to another location. This is not a pond turtle. If I was to move it into a pond, that is not his habitat. But also, it's known that their range is less than a mile. So if I go and move him to another location, he's probably going to spend his entire life trying to get back to where he was from, where he hatched. So.
Wow, that's so good to know.
And we think he's probably 25 years old or older.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he will outlive me because they live until they're in their 80s.
No way!
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. The little turtle.
You got stuff all over your face.
Well, thank you, 45. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you. He can go back into his moss now.
Yes. His chill spot.
And I forgot to mention, but so currently we have a wonderful business who is sponsoring his care for this year, Garvey Communication Associates, Inc. But there's love, enough love to share. So if someone would like to sponsor him as well, sponsorship is $700 for the year.
Wow.
And that covers the cost of his care.
He's worth it.
He's
a
so
great
worth
little
it.
guy over there.
We love him. Should I take out my next guest?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is Nickerson, and he is a screeching owl, correct?
He is
Yes.
an eastern screech owl.
And okay.
They don't actually screech. It's such an interesting name.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who named them. This might take me a second.
That's okay.
I am a lefty, and then I'll try to remember to put the box down.
I can put the box down if that's any
Okay.
easier.
Thank you. Hi, Nickerson.
I'm so excited.
Hi, Nickerson.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hello. Oh, sorry.
So this is Nickerson, and he is our educational screech owl. You'll see that he's missing an eye. That's because when he was an owlet, the tree that he was nesting in was cut down. Unknowingly, the tree was cut down with baby owls in it. And the next morning, the people who had cut down the tree went out to the tree and found owlets, baby owls on the ground, and they were covered in flies. And the parents hadn't come back, and they didn't realize that there were owls in the tree. So they brought the owls to us, and Nickerson had suffered an eye injury when the tree came down. And so we quickly, my staff realized, this bird, he would not survive in the wild with one eye. His flight is not sufficient. So his siblings were released, but we kept him, and we applied for a special permit, again from Fish and Wildlife, to utilize him as an educational bird.
That's amazing. Thank goodness they found the owlets.
I know, thank God. It was in Nickerson State Park. And from what I understand, it was a tree that was hanging over a camping area, and it was a safety hazard. So they had to take the tree down, and the rangers felt absolutely terrible. They had no idea there were owls in there. And so we do remind people, if you can reserve your tree trimming and pruning and tree felling for the late fall and winter months, that's best because you won't displace babies. You might displace adults, but at least they have other places to go. Babies don't have anywhere to go. So this is Nickerson, and he is 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And this is this is adult size.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that common in owls, or owls normally get larger than that? Is this common in eastern screech owls?
It is, yes. They're a pint-sized owl.
Oh.
We do have, commonly on Cape Cod, we have the great horned owl, which is much larger.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the quintessential owl that everyone thinks of. Hi, Nickerson.
Hi.
I'm glad he's looking at you because
I know, I'm having a stare off. I'm like, so cute.
I'm not able, because he can turn his head around nearly almost 360 degrees, I'm not able to, have him look in a certain, in a certain direction. What a good bird.
Oh my goodness. He just made a noise.
He did.
We should get a microphone on it.
That's his little, we think it's a positive noise.
Oh,
It's some type of communication.
Oh, good.
Oh, he's watching the turtle.
Oh. Wow.
So
That's a flexible neck.
I know, isn't it amazing?
Wow.
So owls are fascinating. The reason that he has to turn his head around completely is because owls, they have binocular vision. They look forward because they are a predator, and they need to look forward to hunt their prey. Well, he has monocular vision because he has one eye, but their eyes are fixed in their head. So they're not able to move, how we can shift our eyes and look around. They have to move their entire head to be able to see things in different places.
That's amazing. He's very calm. Is that common in owls as well?
He's calm, I think, because, well, he's certainly familiar with me.
Yep.
Because we do a lot of programs, and it's nice and quiet in here. There's nothing threatening. I love his round posture because that tells me that he's relaxed.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
he's not very stressed. If he
Good.
was stressed, the first thing he would do, he makes himself very tall, and these tufts go straight up. And he basically takes on the appearance of a branch. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a branch,
Wow.
you can't see me.
That's
Camouflage.
So interesting.
So I think he must like you. He's pretty relaxed.
Well, I love him. Oh my goodness.
Isn't he
I'm so
beautiful?
excited that he's here today.
Me too.
Beautiful. And he's also an educational animal.
He
That-
is,
okay.
yes. So I should say you cannot have owls as pets.
Yep.
We had to apply, even though we're a wildlife hospital, we still had to apply for a special permit. And as part of his permitting process, we have to provide 12 programs a year with him. And we've already done over 12 programs this year. And I
That's
feel
amazing.
I know. I feel really good about that because, teaching people, they are an important part of our ecosystem, and they hunt insects and mice, and, teaching people not to poison them and not to cut down their nesting trees.
So now, what are the hours of Wild Care that people can reach you?
Sure. So we are open 365 days a year, and we are there from 9 to 5 every day. So you can call our hotline between the hours of 9 to 5 or drop off an animal between those hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was so great to meet you and your friends. And if you all find an animal in distress, please do not hesitate to call Wild Care at 508-240-2255. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.
Thank you.